welcome into Tuesday's episode of Hoops Talk with Dave. Tuesday, February the 18th here. I'm your host, Dave Smith, with you on Hoops Talk with Dave. We've got some great college basketball action to recap and preview. But just in case you missed it, a full weekend recap. That'll be the episode right below this one, recapping all the NBA All-Star action as well as all the college basketball action over the weekend. Of course, we know we don't have any NBA until tomorrow, one game tomorrow, so we will touch on that then. But looking at last night's college basketball action starting in the ACC, Duke, number 3 Duke, beating Virginia 80-62. Cooper Flagg leading the way, 17 points and 14 rebounds, actually having a double-double before halftime. Virginia, not their year. They dropped down to 500 on the year. In Salt Lake City, Utah, the Utes playing host to the Kansas State Wildcats. Kansas State was red hot before they lost to BYU on Saturday. They double up on the state of Utah losses. Utah winning 74-69 over the Wildcats. The bubble remains very, very small for both of these teams. Both would probably have to win out the rest of the season to be able to make it, even though Utah now has won back-to-back games against worthy opponents, Kansas and Kansas State. Not enough great results elsewhere for the Utes or the Wildcats, really. Kansas State and Utah both need to win out to have an at-large chance, but both will be teams to watch come Big 12 tournament time. Speaking of Big 12 teams, Arizona on the road at Baylor, winning in Waco 74-67. The number 19 ranked Wildcats, led by Toby Awaka, 14 points and 12 rebounds as the Wildcats win 74-67 on the road. Baylor was favored in this one by just a couple of points. Arizona winning as a road underdog there. And now turning our attention to tonight's games. 11 top 25 teams in action, 4 of them facing off with each other. Starting in the SEC in Starkville, Mississippi, Texas A&M, the Aggies, number 7 ranked Aggies on the road at number 21 ranked Mississippi State. Mississippi State coming in after the big road win in Oxford over arch rival Ole Miss. State sits at a 2.5-point favorite. This one at 7 p.m. Eastern on SEC Network. Over to our other top 25 matchup. This one also at 7 p.m. Eastern on Peacock. Michigan State sits as 3.5-point favorites over the Purdue Boilermakers. This one, number 13 Purdue versus number 14 Michigan State. Izzo's team favored at home by 3.5 points. Some Big 12 teams on the road. Houston at Arizona State. This one at 9 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. Houston is an 11.5-point road favorite, but don't sleep on the Sun Devils out there. Should be a really fun one to watch there. Also at 9 p.m. Eastern, this one on ESPN, Kansas at BYU. BYU, a 2.5-point home favorite over the Jayhawks. Once again, 9 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. And Texas Tech on the road at TCU. The Red Raiders sit favored by 8.5 points, 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN+. A fun one in the Big Ten here. The Fighting Illini at Wisconsin. Number 11, Wisconsin climbing up the top 25. Wisconsin sitting as a 3.5-point home favorite over Illinois. 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1. A fun one here in the Big East, Villanova at UConn. UConn an 8.5-point favorite at home over the Wildcats of Villanova. Two teams both started to shift into desperation mode. 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1. And if you're looking for some more SEC action, Oklahoma at Florida in Gainesville. The number 2 ranked Gators, 14.5-point favorites over the Sooners. 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. And the late-night SEC Network game, South Carolina, the Gamecocks at LSU. The Tigers playing host to South Carolina. LSU a 2.5-point favorite over South Carolina. Once again, 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern on SEC Network. And if you're up late looking for some good college basketball, on Fox Sports 1 at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, Minnesota traveling out west to UCLA. The Bruins that is a 13.5-point home favorite. Also over on CBS Sports Network at 11 p.m. Eastern, Fresno State traveling to San Diego State. The Aztecs, 18.5-point home favorites. That one, once again, 11 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network. And that will wrap up today's episode of Hoops Talk with Dave. I'm your host, Dave Smith. Once again, be sure to check out that weekend recap right below this. Also, throw me a follow on X at Dave Smith NBA. Looking forward to connecting with all of you there. Thank you for tuning in to Hoops Talk with Dave. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning for a full recap of tonight's action and previewing another great Wednesday in college basketball.